Hey guys, welcome to the Dad Shoes Podcast, the dad group you don't have to go to.
John, looking on the camera there, you notice anything different about my video feed there?
Actually, it's really bright right around your face. Normally, there's like a dampening feature so that the light isn't just like shining back at me, but it looks as though you've lost your dampener.
My audio dampener.
That too.
My acoustic
dampener.
Portable face-mounted acoustic dampener.
That, exactly.
I guess you could call it that. We'll have to test the audio quality after this one.
I don't know that it would do that. But in any case, I can clearly see that your beard is gone.
My beard is gone. Dear listener, if you just listen and you've never watched any of our videos or streams, you'd know that I have had a beard for quite a while.
A while.
It's been like 2 years.
You and me both, man. We are a couple of bearded fellows.
A couple of bearded fellows, yeah. I grew it out because, honestly, my church started doing more video stuff. Mm-hmm. And without the beard, I had this huge double chin. And I was like, you know what? That needs to go.
And anytime your video comes from slightly below your nose, just don't even bother. I don't mean that to you, but like that was my thought. I shaved my beard a while ago, and I had the same thought. It's like, oh gosh, even with the beard, if I take a picture or like a selfie below, I think you can say below nose level. It's like,
that's good. Yeah,
you get all neck, man, and it's not cool.
Yeah, because my computer camera, it is eyebrow level. I'd say
eyebrow level.
Right now, I'm just sitting right here. Eyebrow level is about where it is. Maybe forehead. And my videos at my computer always look really good. And I guess it's just because it's a slightly above the head shot, so it works out. Yeah, and I have a rather round face, just in general.
I always attributed my round face to fat. You've always been about the same.
It's just a round face.
Size. You've always had a round face.
There's some fat around there for sure.
But I mean, yeah, like for me, I got like a round face. I know I look a lot younger when I shave. Which brings me to a different topic. I have decided when people I don't know ask me how old I am, I'm going to tell them, 45, 50. That way they say, wow, man, you look great.
Yeah. Well, see, that was part of my problem. Is when I started shaving my beard, I tried a couple options. I came out and I showed Mars, and I tried a couple different things.
Mm-hmm.
Goatee, mustache, Fu Manchu. None of it. She was like, anything other than full beard or clean shave makes me look 45, and I'm just not quite ready for that yet.
45?
Yeah. She's like, you look old. Like, geez.
Really?
Yeah, this adds.
Interesting, because you really got to you should do the goatee because you're a youth bastard. Yeah. It's like, well, I mean, it's not 1996 anymore, so, but,
yeah. Yeah, usually, you get the chops, you get the soul patch.
Yeah.
That was like the standard issue.
Exactly.
Face. But times have changed, man. I will say initial reviews are negative. On my,
so I saw you this morning in your element, and, because we went to church together, and let me tell you what, your kids were funny, and your reaction to them was that one kid comes up, I don't even know what he said to you. I assume it's like, dude, why'd you shave your face? And you're like, you can't even grow a beard, man, or you don't even have a beard. It was like, so
you don't
funny.
Have a beard either.
No, I know. It was like.
Well, and the other one I had loaded and ready to go is if someone came up and said, "Oh, you shaved your beard," I'd be like, "Yeah, you too." Like, I don't know if a girl came up and said that to me, if I joked about her shaving her beard, if that would be inappropriate. I don't want to cross the line. But yeah, both my kids are not a fan.
No, really?
Yeah, Titus saw me. I did it at night, too, because I knew it was going to take a while. So
of course.
I shaved it at night. Next morning, Titus walks in and he sees me. He's like, "Dad, why does your face look so silly?" And I was like, "Well, I shaved,
Why does your face look so silly?"
Yeah, like he couldn't tell what was different. And then when Riley saw me, I was afraid that, because she's 2.5, almost 3, I was afraid it was going to be like, "I'm afraid of you." But Nope, she knew it was me. She's just like, wow, you look really dumb. She didn't say that, but
yeah,
you could tell. You could tell that's what she
when
was thinking.
I did that, I didn't do the full deal, but like 6 months ago, a couple months ago, I goateed myself, and it may be because it wasn't like full beard to nothing, but it was enough that Charlotte May came into the bathroom right after I'd finished, and she's like she's running into the bathroom all happy, and she stops and like, what the heck is wrong? And then she looked at just went about her whatever it was she was going to tell me, but you could see I'd thrown her off. And Mabel didn't even phase her. Nothing.
Yeah.
So, but I think I've always looked good with the goatee.
Even by the end of the day, when I picked Titus up from school, he was like, "Oh, you didn't grow back yet?" It's like, no, man, this is going to take a while.
It's going to take a minute, buddy. That's funny.
It's not happening in one
I
day.
remember I guess it was the first time. My dad had a goatee for most of my life. And it was either a goatee or a full beard. I thought he'd shaved a few times in there, but I guess not. Because one day I was in college and my dad wasn't staying. He was like, he would come back to the house once a week. He was in the process to Miami. I got in after he did, and I hadn't seen him in like a week. So he wakes up before me, and I come downstairs to make coffee, and he turns around like I knew it was my dad. But my first response was like, who is this dude in the house? Because I guess I'd never seen his upper lip. I was like,
it'll change.
Whoa! You. And I was not young. I was 20-something. So
yeah,
that was weird.
Well, I know my dad, he had a mustache as long as I have known him.
Right.
Like just a mustache. And I toyed with the mustache. I'm not going to I go out on a limb. I think I look okay with a mustache.
Yeah?
I'm not going to say great. Maybe if I lost some weight. I think I look pretty good with a mustache. Maybe I'm just seeing my dad. Because he had a mustache my whole life. And I know 2 times he shaved it. I can think of 2 times in my life when he shaved it. And the weird thing is when he shaved his mustache, it made him look older.
Something about a mustache. I think it does make guys look a bit younger.
Maybe. Like, it's like the high school kid. Like, it's all you can grow. So you're like, yeah, mustache.
It might be that link. But I don't know, man. I hated my mustache. I didn't have a mustache for years. I had a goatee since I was in middle school. And I didn't grow anything on my lip. And I didn't like it because you had this thing over your lip. And then it wasn't until
when you get a runny nose.
Yeah, then there's that. And it wasn't really until I just stopped shaving one day that I grew a mustache. I don't know that I would ever shave my mustache again unless I shaved everything. But it's
weird. It's nice to feel the breeze. I'm not going to lie. Like when you get that weird breeze on your chin, you're like, oh, this is a little refreshing.
It is a nice feeling when you've had a beard for a really long time. And especially down here in Florida. I don't know about other places, but like, you shave your beard and it's 90 degrees outside, and the next day you go out and you're like, oh wow, that's like somebody turned on the air conditioning.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see, dear listener, if you tune into our It Takes Tuesday, you'll get to see me with my baby face here.
Yeah, it Takes Tuesday. We want a poll, beard or no beard.
Yeah,
that's what we'll call it.
Definitely won't look old enough to be playing the game that we're playing.
Yeah, you definitely won't be old enough to play this game. I'm enjoying this game, but it might have been a mistake.
We've been playing A Way Out, which is also it's from the same company that It Takes Two. So we kept the It Takes Two.
It Takes Two is a better
Tuesday,
game, I think, all
it's
around.
Just like, you think so?
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I feel like what I like about this one is the freedom. You know, like I feel like there's different ways that we can go about it. Where It Takes Two, like you were tied to your buddy. You know, we had to do everything together.
With It Takes Two, you have to do it the way they tell you to. This one, they give you those 2 options. So that is kind of a cool...
And you get to pick. You know, do you want to do the crazy way or do you want to do the sensible way?
Right. We've tended to go on the sensible way because I think you and I are both pretty sensible. But
yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway,
we want to jump into our main topic here.
Is that what we want to talk about tonight?
I think so. I mean... I talked to my wife about this.
Did you?
Well, I just mentioned that we were thinking about talking about it, making it an episode. And she was like, yeah, I mean, you guys should. I mean, we did a breastfeeding episode. So we have experience talking about other people's bodies.
About things we shouldn't talk about? We don't have any business. Clearly, as we have already discussed, we are 2 men.
Yeah. So, not that anybody asks. And if you don't care, well, just click the listen button if you don't want to hear two white guys talk about abortion rights.
I am going to say...
But you may be surprised. You may be surprised with our outcome.
I'm having some minor issue with you right now. It's not... You're cutting in and out.
Oh, technology issue, not...
See, I heard your technology, and that was all I heard. Well, in any case, where do you stand on...
Here we go.
Where do you fall on abortion?
I think we fall pretty similarly, and we live in America, which is not a Christian nation.
That's true.
And I think a lot of people want it to be. And I think a lot of people think it is.
I think a lot of people think both of those should be and that it is. So, yeah.
So, I am generally pro-choice. Whereas, my wife and I, we don't consider abortion an option for us.
Right.
But we're married. We've got 2 kids. What's one more?
It's funny you say that.
Oh, boy.
Have you always held that stance, or?
I think so. Either in a people should get the right to choose, women should get the right to choose, or in the this is out of my realm.
Yeah. Okay.
If you asked me in high school, I think I would have been like, that is not something I want to talk about.
Yeah, I think historically, I've been very pro-life, but I don't even remember who it was that I was talking to about it, because the way I used to view it was if that a fetus is a living being, and that I finally decided, because I couldn't come down on a side. I didn't really have a stance. I just knew it wasn't really. I hope it never affects me, and I came down on, if it's viable outside of the body, then it can live, it can survive. So then you're killing it. But if not, then it's not alive. Right. And that was where I decided that was what I would hold until I came up with a better idea. And I still think that's a fairly reasonable compromise, but it's not my job. Huh?
I don't know. Would you call that a compromise?
Say again?
Would you call that a compromise? I guess it is.
I mean, because it's not viable until 26 weeks.
I guess.
And I think that's what. That's
I know, 32, 36 weeks is when it's full term.
Yeah.
And then some of them like to hang out for a few more weeks.
Right. And then where I've come now, I've come away from that, and I decided that we needed to decide when it became a human being worthy of its own rights, and then you shouldn't be able to abort it then, because then it's its own person. But now I've come to it's not really my say.
Yeah.
And you should have your women should have their own voice and opinions, and
absolutely.
There are other, mine comes from, I try to separate my religious and my socioeconomic beliefs, because we live in America. Yeah. So I try to see it from a bunch of different sides.
Well, and even in that sense, I don't necessarily think of it as separating my religion and my voting habits, because, Paul says you can't hold people who aren't Christian to Christian standards.
Right.
That's not cool. You can't do that, because it just makes people hate Christianity.
Yeah.
That's happened a lot. So, and I think what we can do with this episode is we've talked about this a little bit. There's a couple of things that we definitely agree on.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we can definitely put in this podcast when it comes to abortion. What do we agree on? When it comes to
I think we can flat out say, I think we both agree at this point in 2022, Jage and Connor are fully in the pro-choice camp.
Yeah,
it's not my argument to have.
Yeah.
And
and I know, Marcy and I have talked about having a third kid, and I was actually talking about this with some kids in my youth group recently, because they were asking us how many kids do you want to have? We have 2. We always talked about having 3 though. But one thing I know is my wife does not want to be pregnant again.
I
know. She does not want to go through that a third time. So adoption has always been on the table for us. And while I do think we're a ways away from that, it's kind of if you're going to be pro-life, you gotta like put your money where your mouth is at some point and adopt a kid. I think so. We're getting there, and I do think that could.
You
be
can't
down
say,
the line,
in my opinion, there are other options. You can just have the baby, or you could put it up for adoption. You can't say that and then not
somebody's got to adopt
be willing
these kids,
to support it.
Yeah. Some other things we've talked about that, like, I don't know how viable these really are, and I don't know how we make them happen. But like, if you're also going to be, if the baby inside of a mother's womb is going to be a person, then that mom gets every right of a parent.
Absolutely.
All the tax breaks, all the,
all the tax benefits of having a kid.
Benefits, all the, any kind of Medicare, anything that would extend to a parent. What's the word where the dad has to give money because they're not married? Child support.
Child support.
That mom gets child support because they have a life. They have a life.
Absolutely.
If
that kid is a kid, if that fetus is a real human baby with its own life, and child support would have to be paid after it was born, child support should have to be paid before it's born.
Yeah.
So
if nothing has changed, right?
Yeah. What's the difference? Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. It makes sense that would be the case.
Yeah. Well, and a little bit of context, maybe we should have put this in if people aren't checking the notes of when this episode has come out. So it's come out when this episode has come out. I've been talking to my kids too much. It's May 8th, right? We're recording 2022. And so Roe v. Wade has been overturned, might be overturned, has not yet.
Has not yet. There was a leaked brief, a leaked ruling, and the majority opinion was that it should be overturned for various reasons, which I got some other things to go on with this, and we can come back to like HIPAA later, but it has not officially been overturned. It was a preliminary opinion piece, and it shouldn't have been leaked. It was just for the court, and somehow it got out, so everybody's up in arms about that too. But like, this is such an important ruling for a lot of things that like everybody's up in arms about it already. So
yeah,
and it makes sense. Deal. Yeah,
no, it totally makes sense. But we keeping up with the news a little bit. If it was overturned, essentially for abortion, it would go to the states, and there are definitely some states that would just outright make it illegal.
We live in one of them.
We live in one of them, and there are other states that would not. And I can't remember what company it was. Some tech company, I think, already put out a statement that was like, "Hey, we will pay for travel expenses for any employee that wants an abortion, like to go to a state where it's legal."
Yeah,
if it's not where we are. And it's like, okay.
From what I heard, the United States Air Force put out a very similar statement. And this is before that, but just because of the Texas law, they're like, listen, if you live in a place where abortion isn't legal and you need one, we will make... Oh, it was about the trans rights bill. In Texas, giving your kids...
like the hormone...
gender affirming therapy. Listen, I support it all the way. I'm bad with terminology, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to own it. So I think it's gender affirming care. If you get that, you give your kids that, it could be viewed as child abuse. So they're like, if you live in a state where this is a thing, we'll help you move. So I don't know that that's true. I just saw about it. So
yeah, we'll have to fact check that one later.
I'm not. Yeah, it is not a fact check. That is just I heard from somebody who told some. However that goes.
Well, and this is like, I don't want to like out my wife on this either, because she grew up in a Southern Baptist home. Yeah. And when we first heard about this, that Roe v. Wade was potentially going to be overturned, even she was kind of like, yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I feel kind of negative about that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
Right.
And we kind of came to the same place. It's like, hey, we wouldn't do it, if there's so many like extenuating circumstances, but like just generally speaking, if we accidentally got pregnant again, it would be like, well, we can't afford this. We would have the kid, but that's us.
Right.
We'd make it work.
Right. And that was,
so
we had the same question, and I don't know if this is something that's going on with a lot of kids, like pregnant women. They get asked when they do the ultrasound, do you want the 3D ultrasound? They do the blood test? Do you want to do the super ultra gene blood test that'll tell you if your kid's got any deformities. And it's like, I looked at my wife, and first of all, it's like $1,000. And I don't want to spend that. And I'm like, listen, if you want it, then I guess we will, but so what? What is it going to tell me? It's not like, oh, your child has a 10% chance of having Down syndrome. It's like, okay, and am I gonna terminate the pregnancy because of that? No. So, and it, again, not my choice, but my wife and I had the conversation, and we were on the same page. We wouldn't want to do. So it's like, this isn't going to tell us. It's not going to change anything. So why even bother?
Yeah.
So
I think we can even, we can turn to like our people here. We can talk about things that we do know about.
Yeah.
Particularly like men. And to me, if you're a guy and you are having sex with people, like, you better be ready to be a dad. Like, look, I get it.
Yeah.
Sex is fun.
Right.
Sex is tempting. But if you're gonna do that, you better be ready to be a parent. And I'm talking to the guys, because everybody knows it's like the thing in high school, right? You want the guys gotta have sex with whoever to be cool. And it's like, dude, if you're going there, you just better be ready. Like,
just know. And that was one of those.
There's so much responsibility.
I don't remember who it was, but like a TikTok or something we saw. You and I both saw it. We talked about it before. We're like somebody asked me, well, what would you say if your kid came home and said they were gay? It's like, wait a minute, you mean I don't have to worry about teen pregnancy anymore? Awesome. Like that.
Sidebar on that one. I saw a really sad post today because it was a dad saying that their child came home and came out of the closet, and the dad forgot to say, "Hi, gay, I'm dad." It's just that'll ruin your whole year,
Tell me about it. Did he forget, or was it not properly set up?
The post, I think he just said he forgot. Okay. He forgot to say it. It was all on him, He's like, oh no, I have to turn my dad card in.
Because what else do you say to that? I never had a concern about that. Like it was never something in my family where gay people questionable. I have a gay uncle, not really an uncle. He's an adopted uncle, one of those people. But anyway, I have a gay uncle. Yeah. One of my best friends in high school came out to my family before she came out to her family. And her family was like, yeah, whatever, we don't care. But she felt more comfortable around my family than her own. Mm-hmm. And, it was never really an issue. So if I wasn't, but like if I was going to come out and be, I'm gay. Okay. Hi, gay. I'm dad. My dad, I think my dad would have he'd have made something with it. So,
yeah.
But I don't know. That was never a concern for me, and I hope it's not a concern for my kids. I know we've talked about it being not a concern for other kids that we have interacted with, but they thought it would be a concern. That's not cool. I want to have the relationship with my kids, and I have 2 daughters, which is I hope it doesn't like abortion in general doesn't ever affect them. I hope they never have to worry about it, but they might.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's like the approach that some people take to it is they just assume that these people are just going out and being promiscuous and, I got pregnant, time for an abortion. But I don't think that's usually the case.
Like that was my concern. Like if you're using an abortion as like your birth control, like that was how I always heard it. There was a lot that I understood growing up that I later found out was just wrong, totally false narrative. Not even close to the case. And that was one of them. Like, yeah, kids are going out and they're getting pregnant, and instead of doing the right thing or like wearing raincoats, they're just having abortion. And I'm like, well, that's okay, so that's wrong, right? We agree that's wrong. But that's not what it normally is. It's like I think like most abortions happen because people are married and decide I can't have another kid. I can't afford it. And that, you know what?
That'd be an interesting stat to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not looking. That is not something we do on this podcast. We are like,
we're chill.
I just talk about shit I think I know about, and sometimes I find out I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And you know what? I don't care about the stats. I saw somebody on Facebook being upset about, or Twitter rather, a while ago being upset about like the Ohio abortion ban, it's like 11 weeks, 6 weeks or something, and there's no stipulation for rape or incest. And I'm like, so what? Who cares if there's no stipulation for rape or incest? How many pregnancies, not abortions, but just pregnancies happen from rape and incest, right? How many? So in the total pregnancies that happen in the country every year, how many of them are rape or incest? And then how many of those get aborted? Right? So forget that topic. Just put it away. It doesn't matter. They should have the option regardless. You know? That's where I've fallen on this whole topic. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, parenthood's hard, man.
Dude, I wouldn't give up my kids for the world, but it ain't easy.
It's not easy.
If you're not ready for it, like I do, in fact, though, believe it is. Like there's some people like, oh, I'm not cut out to be a parent, and you know what? You probably
try it.
You probably are. Realistically speaking, we may disagree on whatever, but you're probably fine.
You're probably fine.
I did see another thing where someone was like, "What if we made every boy, as soon as he goes through puberty, get a vasectomy because they're reversible, right? And then he can only get it reversed once he proves that he's financially and emotionally stable and in a committed relationship." I'm like, well, I'm not all for that because I don't like doing surgery for no reason. But it was like, yeah, so how come you're upset about that but not abortion?
I'm trying to find, I saw somebody posted something recently, like today or yesterday. Honestly, it looks like they pulled it down.
Oh.
But it was an interesting thought because it basically questions how, like, our approach to abortion is like, hey, well, it's not for our family, but we want to keep that option open. And in our conversations, we have talked about Louis C.K. Not to bring up.
Talked about what?
We talked about Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Right.
Yeah, not to bring up controversial names, but he's got a bit about abortion, and he's like, it's basically his whole point is like it's either something or it's nothing. He's like, these people who are against it, like they think you're murdering a baby. Right. Like, of course they're against it.
Yes.
They think you're murdering a baby. Who wouldn't be against that? That's what they think you're doing. So who wouldn't be against that? And I won't go into the rest. If you want to hear his bit, you can look him up. But it's either something or it's nothing. But just to kind of frame this post that I saw earlier, because like I said, my approach is generally, it's not something my family would do, but people deserve the option. And sure, this person compared it to with that in mind, thinking that abortion is murdering babies. That's kind of like saying child abuse isn't for you, but you're okay with other people doing it. And I saw that and I was like, oh wow, that's. I had to sit with that one for a little bit.
That's actually a really good one because like you just pointed out, you may be murdering baby. Like if you believe you're murdering children, then who's going to be against that? So yeah, I mean, I'm not okay with murdering children, but I think other people should be okay with it. Because I get it. I get why that's actually a pretty good argument.
Yeah, like that one, I had to sit with that one for a little bit. I wanted to see how you felt. I think the person who posted it pulled it down, but I was like, oh.
I mean,
okay.
I see where you're coming from. And if that's your stance, then you're not wrong. But I disagree with like all the way. Yeah. And like so because a lot of my whole life has been centered around my faith, I will come back to what faith leaders have said in the past. And I'm not really sure where it comes in. I know that you and me, are what we would call Christian. And the Christian church as a whole has a bad history. There have been some bad people in charge. And I'm pretty sure it comes in from there, because in Judaism, it may actually be required. An abortion may actually be required. And the same is true in Islam.
Yeah, I saw your post about that lady explaining it on TikTok.
Yeah, I love her. She's so funny. She did one TikTok about which Pokemon could you eat if you were on a kosher diet. It's like a 3-part video. It's so great.
That's so funny.
I'm not really sure who she is or what she is in relation to the Jewish faith, but she is Jewish, and she knows about the law.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the most recent one I'd seen. And it kind of like, I put it on Facebook because it kind of put in perfectly with what that person was saying. Well, sort of. Because then he comes up and he actually messaged me later on. He's like, listen, I respect you as somebody who wants to find the truth and blah, 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 blah. And then he says it's not an issue of religion or abortion. The Roe v. Wade is a matter of states' rights. And I didn't say anything because whatever, I'm not going to win him over at all. But but okay, so we're saying that states should have the rights to say certain things that have previously been decided by the Supreme Court. Well, what if my state decides that you can't carry guns or like have guns in the state at all? Then what? Because by your argument, if it's up to the state to choose what's okay and what's not okay, then guns aren't okay in this. Clearly not our state. Our state likes guns so much we're shaped like a gun. But like California.
That's funny. I never thought about that.
Yes, we are the gun state. We shaped like a gun. Although our bullets just go pew 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 right out the end. Pew pew pew.
Yep.
That's the Florida Keys for those of you who are unfamiliar with what Florida looks like on a map. But anyways, that's kind of my take, and I think you and I agree. If not 100%, I would say like 85%.
Podcasts are generally better when the hosts disagree on stuff, but I'm okay agreeing on this one.
I don't know that we disagree on much,
No,
except for Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh yeah, that movie sucked.
You've got to rewatch it.
I am so on a Marvel kick right now, though, because we went to go see a new movie last night. We went to go see Doctor Strange.
Dude, we've seen 2 Marvel movies in 2 weeks, and we went together.
This is crazy. This is crazy.
I know.
It's a new life, man. Finally getting out of the house. But yeah, we went and saw Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and I really liked that one.
I mean, it was okay.
You got to see it again. So, look, I mean, they did some things that I was kind of like, ooh, but that, like, it to me, I know it's edgy.
It's edgy. It is
movie.
edgy
It's
AF.
Sam Raimi, man. Like, it's not, don't take your kids to this one.
This is not a kid's movie. This is a kid's movie when the kids started watching Iron Man at like 8.
That's a whole other topic, bro.
I'm just saying, like, if they started watching Iron Man at 8, then they can watch this movie.
Then they're probably ready for this one.
Yeah, but
well, look, if they watched Iron Man at 8, then that came out like
2008.
Right, but now it's 2022, so that would mean those people are
22.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So yeah, those kids can watch this movie.
14 years
That's
ago.
what I was getting at. I really liked it. I thought it was good. It's edgy, but to me, like, going and seeing that movie just kind of gave me that old MCU feeling of like, where are they going with this? You know?
I definitely got that. This is one of the first few. Well, one of the more recent Marvel movies that I got that. Where are they going with this vibe? Because it actually,
it's like they've got something. They got something cooking, but it's like I don't know where they're going.
To me, I think what I didn't like was it's got kind of a DC. We've talked about this before, where like I like the theory of like Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Batman and Superman. I like the theory of Batman, not so much, especially the Batman, like the new one with Edward Cullen.
Have you watched it? I haven't watched it yet.
It was pretty good. I actually enjoyed it. I'll watch it again sometime because it's on HBO, and absolutely. Side note, Marvel in particular, if you're listening, first of all, thanks. Second of all, please let me pay extra on Disney Plus to stream the movies when they come out. Please.
It was a good season when you let us do that.
Please let me
Black
do that.
Widow and
come on, listen.
Is that the only MCU movie we got to do that with? Was Black Widow, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Eternals went to theaters first.
It was,
and it's on. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus now.
But it was only in theaters for like a month.
Not long. It was not in theaters long.
Okay, because I paid extra for Raya. I paid for Black Widow. I paid for something else.
Did you pay for Mulan?
Cruella. Huh?
Oh, you paid for Cruella.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, I paid for Cruella. My sister-in-law actually paid for Cruella, but She's like, I want to see that. Can we? I'm like, yeah, okay.
Your Disney Plus account saw that, paid for that.
Yeah, she was here. We watched it here. Anyways.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the only one I didn't pay for, I think, was Mulan, because who cares? Like, like I loved Mulan the cartoon. Don't get me wrong. I had absolutely zero desire to see that movie. I did because I felt like I had to. It was like,
you watched it. I still haven't watched it yet.
Don't worry about it, dude. You're not missing anything. It kind of sucked.
Plan to, but I just
it was. I didn't watch Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon when it came out because I didn't want to watch that wire foo they call it. I didn't want to see it because it's like I watched it because I thought it was just going to be a live action Mulan, and it's not a live action.
No, they changed a couple.
And they didn't get Ming Na Wen, so
even for a cameo appearance.
I don't even think she was in it for a cameo. And I'd say she's too BA for that. She's in every other Disney property.
Yeah.
But no, anyways, topic at hand, which I forgot what it was. Watching Marvel movies.
We had a pretty smooth transition from abortion into Doctor Strange.
I don't remember.
So let's go off our notes there. We made a pretty smooth transition from abortion into Doctor Strange.
Yeah, we're pretty good at that.
I thought it was good. I really enjoyed it. I want to watch it again.
I would absolutely. Oh, I remember why. It was they do this thing with the DC movies where everything in the movie makes sense in this reality, and then all of a sudden here comes the climax, and wait a minute, now Wonder Woman can jump 300 feet in the air? Like, what did that come in? Like, it, like, all of a sudden they throw the rules of the universe out the window to make it a cool superhero. And I feel like Marvel has always been consistent. What happens at the beginning of the movie, either it stays the same, like physics always works, or there's a reason for physics to. And like, even in SpiderMan, he's like, wait a minute, this isn't magic, this is geometry. And he gets it, and he's able to break out of it, right?
Yeah.
So like, it's not like all of a sudden pulls you out of this movie you're watching and puts you into another thing. This one was like, it was constantly bouncing around, which may be why I got that. Because like, you're in one universe, and then you're in another one.
Yeah. And every time you move, the rules change.
Something changes.
Yeah.
Spoilers. We go on red.
We go on red. But man, I think that was a good movie. I really enjoyed it.
That's only a minor spoiler, so if you heard it, you didn't miss.
Yeah. Don't worry, you didn't miss anything. Come back for our timely review of Doctor Strange.
This ain't it.
This ain't it. Nope.
Anyways, just so we're all on board, the Dad Shoes podcast loves you. If you have any topics you need to talk about with your dad and you can't, hit us up on Instagram or Twitter at Dad Shoes Pod, because we're dads, and this is the dad group you don't have to come to. Not just because we're a group of dads, but because this is a place you can come if you're not a dad and you need some dad advice. And it did say dad advice. So if you're we also believe that you should have the ability to choose your own medical procedures. I don't care if you're a man or a woman, quite frankly. I don't care what you are, who you want to be, who you say you are. That's all good. That's between you and whatever. You do you. Just know we're here to.
And not because we're lonely.
And not just because we're lonely.
We got each other.
Yeah, we got each other. We don't need other people. But
should I read the outro, or was that it?
I don't know, man. I got halfway through that and realized I'm doing the outro.
Pretty much, yeah. Well, I'll tie up the loose ends. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Dad Shoes podcast. I'm going to skip that because you already said it. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Reach out to us on Instagram or Twitter at Dad Shoes Pod. And what do we want to hear from you?
What do we want to hear?
Yeah, we usually have like a...
I want to know. You, dear listener. I want to know your review of the last Marvel movie you saw. I want to know if you think, and I would say Doctor Strange, but
you might not have seen that one.
That came out 2 weeks ago, and
dude, I think we saw it opening weekend.
I think we actually saw it because I think it came out Thursday. So
Thinking about Thursday.
Just the kind of mind-bending experience this has been the last couple weeks. We saw Doctor Strange opening weekend, which I haven't seen a movie opening weekend since I was 25. It may have been the last Harry Potter movie, actually. Not like Deathly Hallows Part 2. Hallows. So we saw opening weekend because our wives were weird, I guess, and said, yeah, you guys should totally go do that. So we did. And that theater was
So
but,
nice.
but the weekend before we saw The Secrets of Dumbledore, the weekend after it came out. So like not opening weekend, but the following weekend, and we were in the worst theater the worst screen in the theater. I don't know if that's how it works. The worst theater in the building.
Had to be.
It was so bad. And listen, if you haven't seen Secrets of Dumbledore, go see it, man. It was good, and they really need some hype to pull it out of the no ratings, because I actually did enjoy it.
Yeah, it's so much better than the second one. Go give it some money so they can finish the series.
Please finish the series. I want to see this battle. But anyways, we want to hear your review of the last Marvel movie you saw, and if it was Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, then absolutely let us know. Otherwise,
all right, bye.
Peace.